We've got more than 4,000 members in more than 30 countries across the globe. So they're really seeing a wide variety of different impacts depending on their industry and where they're located geographically. Right now, more than half of our member companies said that they're implementing cost-cutting measures throughout the company at every level. About 60% of our member companies said that they are seeing a high impact on travel. And specifically within travel, business travel trips are now about $150 more expensive than they were domestically than they were a year ago. And internationally, the cost has gone up about $350 per trip. Well, travel managers are doing a lot right now in order to contain costs, and specifically within air travel, there's a real focus on advanced purchase, and many companies have told us that they can save significant amounts on air travel simply by getting their employees to book travel earlier. The other thing that we see is companies that are really putting a much greater emphasis on either mandating their policy or enforcing their existing travel policies. It's the #1 tool that they have to really steer their travelers toward the right purchasing decision. We're seeing the continuation of a trend that we've actually seen for several years in the hotel sector, and that is an increased emphasis on mid-price properties as opposed to luxury properties. And companies have really gone back into getting their travelers to go to those mid-tier properties this year. We also saw something new this year, and that is about 1/3 of companies that renegotiated mid-year with hotels, and that was to take advantage of rates that were actually lower in some markets than they had been earlier in the year. And they were renegotiating either with hotels that were already in their preferred hotel program or even going out to new hotel vendors and negotiating better rates than they had earlier in the year. Fuel prices actually have dropped a little bit recently, but before that they were at the highest rate that we had seen them ever. And so companies did a lot to try to manage that with their ground transportation. They got travelers to refuel before returning rental cars, and that's a big savings because a lot of the car rental companies charge really high fees for refueling cars. They actually focused also on smaller, more fuel-efficient vehicles, and the smaller vehicles not only save fuel but also save on the rental costs. And where they can, they've tried to get travelers to use hybrids in order to save on fuel costs. And then we've also seen companies that have gotten their travelers to share or carpool. So when they get to a destination, if they have multiple people going to a trip, going to an event, that they would actually share a car rental at the other end. We do have some indications from more recent research, and we've seen, for example, that airline fees are going to be a big topic at the negotiation table. The majority of companies are already or will be soon measuring the impact of those airline fees on their travel programs. And about 70% of our members have in fact said that they plan on negotiating on those fees, which would be something new. Looking forward, even into 2009, it's kind of a split picture right now. About 50% of our members say that they expect travel to continue growing, though at a slower rate, so it would be similar to what we've seen in 2008. Another 50% actually have said that they expect a decline in business travel. A little more than 40% expect to scale back on their negotiated contracts with airlines, hotels, car rentals, etc. The one thing that we know for absolute certain is that companies will continue to travel in order to meet their strategic needs. And what the companies that travel smarter, that really manage those programs, will come out of the other end of this economic downturn better off than their competitors.